Nope, he's back.
We're good.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I have Ji'Ayir Brown here with us. So when you are ready to ask a question, please use the raise your hand function and we'll come over and unmute you. We will start with Rich Scarcella.
Hi, Ji'Ayir. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. Why do you think your red zone defense has been so effective this season?
It's the guys' mentality going into the red zone, you know. Our mentality not to let people score. The worst thing possible we can allow is a field goal. So I think the guys' mentality during that time of the game is definitely a big part on why our red zone defense is so good.
Elton Hayes.
Hey, Ji'Ayir, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Hey, how would you assess Jalen Reed's development right now, coming in as a freshman, playing in 4 games, seems to be grasping the defense pretty well. How do you think he's doing?
He's doing excellent, you know, unbelievably excellent, you know. So he has, you know, excelled in so many ways since he got here, and he's adapted so quickly. You know, it's unbelievable how fast he understood the defense and how he was able to, you know, get things and fit the right gaps and know his gaps and know his responsibilities. So I'm definitely proud of him and his development here.
Alexis Yoder.
Ji'Ayir, what was the effect of you getting that pick 6 late in the Maryland game? What effect did that have on the game? And why does the team as a whole stress the importance of winning the turnover battle?
You know, the turnover battle is a major part in every football game. You know, most likely the team who wins the turnover battle is the team that's going to win a game. You know, getting that late turnover in a game was great for the team. You know, it takes a lot of stress off the offense having to go back out there in 2 minutes. You know, it gives the defense, you know, a break. You know, we were getting down in the red zone. We was able to capitalize in the red zone during that time. So it was a big relief for the whole team.
Craig Meyer.
Hey, Ji'Ayir, thanks for taking the time out here, man. I figured you would have some good insight on this being a DB, but I mean, how, you know, the version and what we saw Jahan do on Saturday, I mean, how close is that kind of a guy and that kind of a performance to the person that you guys see in practice on an everyday basis? Like what kind of things do you typically see him do that even just weeks or months or even years will really stand out to you?
You know, the things that he does in the games, the things we see him do in practice, you know. So, you know, Jahan, he stands out in practice. He stands out in the game. It's never really a big surprise when we see Jahan take touchdowns back to the end zone here and there, you know. It's stuff he works on all season and stuff he's been prepared to do, you know. So he just goes out there and execute every day like we expect him to. So them big plays is what's expected from Jahan.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. I wanted to ask you about Coach Duda. Coach Franklin was telling us that he talked with Mark yesterday. When's like the last time you've talked with Coach Duda, and what's he maybe telling you?
I talked to Coach Duda about 2 weeks ago. You know, just telling me to keep up the great work. You know, he's very proud of me, as he always do. You know, he's a very, you know, passionate person. You know, he loves to reach out to his former guys and give them his advice on what they're doing and his input on what he sees. So yeah, he's a great person, man. Coach Duda.
Frank Bodani.
Yeah, Tig, why is the secondary? What's the best thing about the secondary for you guys? How would you describe it?
The best thing about our secondary is the grit and the experience. You know, with Joey Porter and Tariq Castro Fields and Brisker, you know, these are our veteran guys, experienced guys, and these guys are the ultimate competitors. You know, so when you got a group like this who's willing to compete, you know, at every level and every second in the game, you know, you're going to have a very tough secondary to go against if you're the opposing team.
Rich Scarcella.
Jair, how different is Michigan's offense than last year's Michigan offense, and how effective has their running game been?
I'm not really concerned on about how their offense was last year. It's a whole new year for everybody. Um, Teams have figured out new strategy. They run new plays. So I have locked in on Michigan's offense this year, and they're a pretty great offense. They do a lot of things extremely well, and I'm looking forward to this game. Looking forward to compete.
Joe Smeltzer?
So you were not at Penn State yet the last time Michigan came to Beaver Stadium. Having started your Penn State run last season, obviously with no fans, having fans back this year, obviously the Auburn game was great. But for this game being late in the season, two conference opponents, two nationally prominent programs, how excited are you just to be able to play a school like Michigan in front of 107,000 plus people? Because these types of games are obviously one of the reasons people go to Penn State and play football.
Yeah, it's a great experience. I was actually at the game in 2019 that you referred to, the whiteout game. I was there as a recruit, of course, but it was a great game. The fans were extremely loud, and yeah, this is the games why you come to Penn State. These are the games you want to play in front of a lot of people. And you want to be around this organizations, both organizations, and make this college environment just the best environment around. So it's going to be a great game come Saturday against Michigan. I'm looking forward to it.
Elton Hayes?
Hey, Jair, we just spoke with Coach Franklin. He was very complimentary toward Malik Mega. Just wanted to see, what do you see from him in practice on the offensive side of the ball? What are some ways that you've kind of seen him gain some confidence and take a step forward this year?
Yes, that's the biggest improvement I have seen from Malik this year is his confidence. He's extremely confident now. He's getting even more confident, even more, understanding of the offense. And he's an excellent receiver and an excellent person. Malik loves to compete at a high level, so that's going to help him and carry him through his college career.
John Sauber?
Jair, you made it apparent in the past how close you and Jaquan are as safeties, obviously both kind of going to LAC1 and everything. How does that help you when you're actually on the field as far as communication and making sure you're on the same page?
It's hard to explain, I can hear Jaquan on the field, as far as our communication. He has a very distinct voice that stands out on the field. So I actually hear mostly everything he says on the field. It allows us to make late adjustments and, adjust to what we think the offense is about to run, and it allows us to just do stuff on the fly a lot of times, even when we don't alert it before play. His voice is very distinct to me, and I can hear his voice, from in front of 107,000 fans, and that allows us to execute on the field.
Audrey Snyder?
Jair, what's it like playing with Joey Porter Jr., and what do you think maybe kind of the next step is for him?
Joey Porter, man, he is the ultimate competitor, man. He might be the most competitive guy on the defense. Joey, he loves to compete. He loves the one-on-one matchups he get. He loves to go against the best. It's a blessing to have a corner like him, to be able to watch him play and watch him do the things that he does very well. The next steps for Joey is going to be great. He's going to succeed tremendously.
Frank Bodani?
Have you heard the talk about you guys maybe being one of the best secondaries ever at Penn State? If you have, is that some type of motivation? Do you guys ever talk about that? Coaches do? Anyone?
No, we don't speak too much about that. I don't think we ever brought that up. We just worried about, executing every week, going in games and being the best version of ourselves we can be, and we allow the fans, if they want to say that, and anybody else who want to say that, they can say that. We don't focus on that. We just go out there and focus on what we got to do and our responsibilities.
John Petishnock?
Hey, Ji'Ayir, I wanted to follow up on something you said earlier. I hope this isn't too repetitive what you've already said, but you said the best thing about the secondary is the grit. Like, how do players develop grit? Like, where does that come from? Is that something that you develop in high school, in college, or is this just something that you know it when you see it?
As long as you're in competitive sport, that develops through competing against other people, the will not wanting to lose, the the grit on having the mindset that I'm going to win this rep, I'm going to win my one-on-one matchup, I'm going to beat the guy in front of me. So that's what I think our secondary really specializes in, is winning them one-on-one matchups and competing at the highest level.
Audrey Snyder.
Going back to Joey, you said that he's like maybe the most competitive guy. Is there an example that comes to mind where maybe he got ticked, that he lost a rep or something, or an example that you can think of with him?
When Joey loses a rep, he never hangs his head. He's just like such a person where he feel like you got lucky. He'll tell a guy you got lucky, that won't happen again. And it really won't happen again. When Joey gets to talking and he gets to acting like himself, he's probably the most unstoppable corner in the nation. When he's very comfortable and he's sitting there, he's settled, and he can compete at the level he want to compete, and he can play his man coverage the way he want to. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Frank Bonanni.
What haven't you guys done that you think can be better back there as a group the last 3 games? Is there something in particular, Ji'Ayir, as far as maybe what you haven't accomplished, corner safeties?
I don't know the ultimate turnover goal, or I don't know the ultimate turnover goal for Penn State history, but that's something we always want to accomplish as a secondary. I think every secondary around the country want to be the secondary who led the school in all-time turnovers and career interceptions. So I think that's pretty much our main goal, is doing our job and getting the turnover goal in all-time Penn State history.
John, you can wrap us up this afternoon.
Thanks. Hey, Ji'Ayir, there was Penn State Athletics put out a stat the other day that you're the first player since Alan Zamitis, or the only 2 players defensively to have the 4 picks and the 2 fumble recoveries. I'm just wondering, have you had much of a chance to talk with Alan now that he's back on staff, and kind of, I don't know, is there any type of rapport with him personally with you?
Yeah, AZ. I call him AZ. He's a tremendous.
Sorry, Ji'Ayir, I think I muted you. That's my fault.
Okay. Yeah, AZ. He's he's a mentor to all the safeties and DBs. He always gives his input. He's always around. He's always communicating with us, and he's just a great person all the way around. So I'd always talk to AZ. I think every day me and AZ have a conversation about football and what he expects and what he sees, and he give me his input. I give him my input. It's just a great conversation between both of us.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for your time this afternoon. Thank you, Ji'Ayir, for your time as well, and appreciate the coverage.
Thanks, Ji'Ayir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.
You are.